Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, out and about today on another bike review. Today I'm on the F900 XR from BMW, a cute little sports tourer machine, which I've been interested to ride ever since it was announced late last year. So if you're interested in the F900 XR, stick around and stay tuned. So the F900 XR then, very much a bike I suspect BMW are aiming at the likes of the Yamaha Tracer 900. They want a bit of that action. That bike's been selling quite well. Quite a lot of bikes in this sector, so I'm going to be interested to see how this one stacks up. There are of course options like the Multistrada 950, the new Tiger 900 from Triumph is in this type of sector as well, you could argue. Although of course the XR doesn't have any off-road pretensions like the Tiger. This is sort of a performance tourer, if you like. The baby brother of the S1000 XR is one way of looking at it. A bike that I love riding, but the big brother of this, the S1000 XR, I always found a little bit angry. It's got that four-cylinder engine. It always sounds like you're having to rev the absolute pants off it to get anywhere. Also, I always found it a little bit buzzy, and I couldn't really get on with the looks of it. It looked a bit duck-like at the front, whereas this, the little F900, I should stop calling it the little F900, because of course it is a 900cc or just shy of. It is not a small engine by any means. This bike though I think looks really cute. Of course that's just a matter of taste, but I think they've done a lovely job on the front of the bike. It looks really cool. Now this particular machine that I'm riding is the demo from Bahnstormer, so thank you to the guys at Bahnstormer in Maidenhead, as ever, for letting me ride this brand new machine. It's only got something like 3 miles on it. This particular bike is the standard machine, not something you see very often when it comes to BMWs, which is usually laden with extras. These 900 XRs come in 2 flavours. You can get this, the basic machine, which is just shy of 10 grand, and I'll go through the full spec when I do the walk around a little bit later. Or you can get it in a TE spec, which has all the things that you're likely to want. Things like heated grips, attachment points for luggage, additional riding modes. This one, as I say, is a fairly basic bike in comparison. It has doesn't have electronic suspension. It's only got 2 riding modes, rain and road, but to be honest, why do you need any more? I'm a BMW GS owner, and I've got the riding modes pro, so I've got all sorts of stuff available to me, but I only ever ride it in dynamic, which is its most powerful, or rain mode, and that's it. So I think road and rain really are all you need. Alright, so just while I'm heading up to a slightly faster road, let's just go over some of the basics of the bike then. This is, as I say, my first ride on the bike. It does feel lovely and light actually. The engine in here is the same engine as on the new GS 850, or the F850 GS I should say. It's been bored a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, and the tune is slightly different. It feels a lot different, I have to say. It feels a lot more like it wants to go, a lot more in keeping with the character of its bigger brother, the S1000 XR. Of course this is a twin cylinder bike, so it's not as angry all the time as the S1000, and I like that. Got quite a nice sound out of the standard exhaust. It's not too loud, not too quiet. Really eager bike to go. In terms of comfort, riding position, very nice indeed. Nice and upright. Feels very familiar, the riding position. Nice wide handlebars. Legs are slightly acute angle. Not particularly sporty, but you know, they are folded at the knees. It's definitely all day long position, all day riding comfort. If you do want to do touring, then it's perfect for that. Although I would say is the seat feels very hard on this particular bike, so I don't know how that would fare over a long period of time. Right, let's get onto a bit of faster dual carriageway and just see what she's like in terms of weather protection. Handles beautifully on these corners, I have to say. Just feels like it wants to be thrown into the corners. This would be an excellent bike for riding down to the Alps and then thrashing around those alpine passes. Okay, no quick shifter on the basic bike either. Okay, so here I am on the dual carriageway doing typical sort of cruising speeds, and I've got a lot of wind blast, I have to say. I've got this little screen in its fully up position, but I'm fully in a wind blast here. What I would say is it's clean airflow, it's not turbulent, my head's not all moving around, so it's quite comfortable, but you are in that wind blast. So I think I would be very tempted if I was to spec up one of these to get the bigger screen that you can get fitted onto these. I imagine most of the bikes that sell will get those bigger screens. They also look a bit better. I took a picture of one in the showroom actually with the bigger screen. I'll post it up. This particular white model in the showroom with the big screen just looks really nice. I think, compared to the smaller screen. Again, I'll show you the outside of this bike when I do the walk round. In terms of wind blast everywhere else, I've got a pretty big frontal area on here, so the lower part of my body is in the calm air. My legs are completely protected by these big side pods. Just the shoulders and head in that wind blast. Out of interest, see if I can adjust this down. There we go. With it down, yeah, as you'd expect, just more wind blast basically. So it does have an effect having that screen up. Although with it down, you definitely get a better view forward. And loads of go. I mean, here I'm cruising along at 75 indicated, and it's got a lot more go if you want it. So yeah, to start your tour going down the motorways of France or whatever, you could ride this all day, no problem at all. At motorway speeds, there's no lack of power here. Alright, so much for dual carriageways and motorways. Let's come off up here. I'll ride through one of my favourite little towns of Marlow, see what she's like in traffic. Okay, so just while we're trundling into Marlow, let me tell you a bit more about the basics on the bike. These are things that aren't very exciting stuff, but if I were buying a new bike, are things that I would certainly want to know. So, handling, I've already mentioned, feels really light and nimble. It's lovely. And it's got loads of go on the motorway, as I just experimented with when the camera was off. So there's no lack of power here. Suspension feels quite stiff on the bike. It is adjustable, it's got a little remote adjuster on here, but it is the basic suspension on this bike. It's set on the firmer side, it's not bone jarringly firm, but I guess that is what helps with its handling. The clutch action on here is beautiful and light, really lovely. And it's a cable operated clutch and fully adjustable, which is nice as well for a span. Gearbox is lovely and smooth, as you'd expect of a new bike. And one of the things I'm really pleased that BMW have done on the bike is added their, as far as I'm concerned, industry leading TFT screen. This is just the most beautiful screen to look at. It's very similar to what you find on the GS and the sports bikes, etc. And it's now on the F900 XR as well. It's just clear, it's clever, it's easy to use. Okay, I'm a BMW fanboy and I've gushed about the TFT before. In the main, I'm not a massive fan of TFTs on bikes. I'd probably rather have dials, particularly if it's more of an old school bike. But on something thoroughly modern like this, if you're going to have a TFT, that is the one to have. It is really lovely. This bike is actually fitted with the heated grips, which I'm not sure are standard. There may well be an option. It's a sort of a heated grip day actually, so I'm going to pop those on. I'm also wearing my heated gloves actually that I've raved about before. These are my Kais G601s. If you've not used heated gloves before, if you haven't got heated grips, they are brilliant. I'll put a link below in the video as to where you can get these. I've talked about these before. I did a review on my heated jacket and I talked about the gloves, and a lot of people asked me about them, so at some point I'll do a review on them. Anyway, I digress. So here we are in Marlow on the F900. First gear, no jerkiness on the throttle at all, really smooth, really nicely sorted. Not that busy in town today. I'm recording this on a Wednesday in February, so no chance to filter or anything like that, but I would imagine it would be a brilliant commuter bike this, because as I say, it feels very, very light. And for a smallish chap like me, I'm only 5'8", very, very non-intimidating, very easy to handle. One of the good things that BMW have done about this is made the height eminently adjustable depending on how big you are, so it ranges anywhere from 750 to 850mm with various lowering kits, with a standard height, which I'm assuming this is, being somewhere in the middle. Try and get my feet firmly on the ground on this, but with 10 centimetres of overall adjustment available, you're bound to find a height that works for you. So I'm glad that bike manufacturers are now starting to do that. A few years back it seemed that every bike you got on was tall. See, when I'm down, look, I'm on the balls of my feet either side here, but it doesn't feel particularly top heavy or ponderous or anything like that, which I thought it may do, because it's got the same engine in, as I mentioned, as the F850 GS, albeit bored slightly bigger. And that bike, although I love that bike and I love that engine, I did find that very, very heavy to move around. So I don't know what they've done with the frame on this. They've obviously changed things slightly. Maybe they've mounted the engine lower down, but this doesn't feel anywhere near as heavy as that bike felt. Now, it feels like a light bike, this. Dead easy to ride in slow traffic like this. Oh, what a beautiful day to be on the bike. Look at this. This is the River Thames in Marlow. Let's have a little stand up. The weir down there. And the Complete Angler Hotel. Very nice indeed. Very posh down there. Beautiful day for it. Brakes on here work really well, by the way. Again, I guess you'd expect that with a new bike, but given this has only done a couple of miles before I jumped on it, they're not properly bedded in or anything, but they're absolutely prodigious. Just try the back brake. The back brake's pretty rubbish actually, but that might just be because it's not bedded in at all on this bike yet, but barely does anything on this bike. The front brake more than makes up for that. But I imagine that's just because it's a brand new bike, as I say. Alrighty, so not a brilliant test in town because it wasn't that busy. I was hoping to do a bit of filtering, but certainly slow speed handling, no problems with the throttle at all. Really nice through there, would make a brilliant commuter as well as a touring bike. Alright, next up then, let me take you to one of my favourite spots on the planet. We'll park the bike up and I'll do the walk around, talk you through the spec. Let's just dip by him. Right, speak to you in a mo. So I'm just heading up towards Hurley now, which is a lovely little village just between sort of Marlow and Henley, that sort of area. Place I've often gone to on my bike reviews just because it's a really nice little oldie worldy village, and there's a nice little spot to park the bike up so I can show you around, talk you through the spec, as I say. And when I come out I'll head up towards Henley Way because this road is quite a nice twisty road, as you can see. Great to test out the handling on this bike. It feels beautiful. Need to be a little bit careful because they're again brand new tyres yet to be scrubbed in. It does sort of encourage you to ride in a spirited manner, this bike. Thinking in my mind, in my case, somebody that enjoys touring and road riding, not a particular speed merchant, well, I would go for the S900 XR over this, and I'm not sure I would. I guess if you were riding with a pillion a lot, maybe the extra grunt would be useful, but actually I'm enjoying riding this bike more than the S1000s, which, as I say, I just found a bit angry all the time. This can be relaxed if you want it to because of the nature of that twin thumper. Thank you, sir. Does sound nice, this engine. Yeah, on these pothole roads here, you get to feel how firm the suspension is. It's not terrible by any means, but it's definitely on the if there's a median setting, this is definitely on the firm side of it. As I say, you can adjust the rear suspension so you can soften that up if it was an issue. Alright, so nice to see the sun. I'm recording this on a what day is it? It's a Wednesday afternoon in the middle of February, and we're just starting to see these odd nice days coming now. It gives me hope that biking and flying season is just around the corner. Talking of going around the corner, let me stick this around the corner here, and we can do the walk around if we're not going to get in anyone's way, which I usually do. Here we go, sun's out here. Let's see if I can get away with it here. Alright, what's finding neutral like? Very easy, turns out. Side stand, quite short, easy to get down. And I'm glad to say this doesn't have keyless ignition. Here we go then, let me show you this little puppy. There we have it, the 2020, brand new for 2020, F900 XR from BMW. It is a cute little beast, isn't it? I definitely would have a bigger screen though, because I think it does make it look cuter, but it looks really nice in this red. Alrighty, let me get the details out, get my phone out, and I'll walk you through the spec in the usual way. Okay, here we go then, the first time I've done a walk around with my splendid new phone camera. Let's hope it comes out alright. What a beautiful day for riding as well. Light is beautiful today. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's talk you through the specs. So the engine here, I've already mentioned it quite a bit. 2-cylinder 895cc engine on this, inline engine. Puts out 105 brake horsepower, 8,500 RPM. So sort of where you need it. Torque wise, 92 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. Again, sort of mid-range. Really nice feel to the bike. Doesn't feel like it needs more power. Let's have a look at the brakes on the front, which look massive on the front here actually. On the front here we've got dual floating discs, 320mm, and these have got 4-pot Brembo calipers on them, as you can see. On the back, single disc as usual, 265mm this one, and that's got a single pot bi-bray caliper as well. Suspension wise, already mentioned this is quite basic on this one. This front has got upside down telescopic forks, and that's got 170mm of travel on that one, and those are 43mm in diameter. If we come around to the back and not get killed by this passing van. Suspension here, as I say, this is the non-electronic one on the basic bike. There you can see the remote adjuster for the preload, but that's about it. Central spring strut, 172mm of travel on that one. Seat height on here as standard is actually 825mm, believe it or not. So it sounds quite tall, though I didn't find it so, but as I mentioned, massive adjustment available, 775 to 870 you can have using various lowering kits done by BMW. The seat itself, single piece on this, as you can see, as opposed to sometimes you get the two-piece. It's quite sculptured nicely. It feels comfortable in that respect, but it is pretty damn firm, it has to be said. Just look at the road, make sure I don't get killed as I come out here. Lovely in this colour as well. What else can I tell you? The weight, fully filled, 219 kilograms, so quite light for a fully fueled bike of this type. Tank capacity 15.5 litres you'll get in that tank, so that's quite nice. Electronics, rain and ride modes, and as I say, the TE comes with some extra stuff. This has got fancy lights as well. It's all LED lighting on here. Price of this bike, the standard one, according to the website, £9,825, and it comes with a 3-year warranty. Of course, if you spec it up with lots of options, as most people do with BMWs, then of course you could probably add £1,000 to that. What else to say? The TE, as I mentioned, which is the one that will probably which will sell most, I would imagine, gives you heated grips, dynamic traction control, that's the lean angle sensitive stuff. Riding modes Pro, lead angle, ABS, dynamic brake lights, prep for the GPS device, pannier attachment points, all that sort of stuff. There is an A2 compliant version as well, which reduces it to 48 horsepower, so ideal for new A2 licence holders. And yeah, that's about it. It comes in 3 colours, red, white or gold, and they've all got these sort of grey trimmy bits on it. And I have to say, this red looks really dashing in the sunshine. Alrighty, I think that's about all I've got to say about the bike. I really do want to jump on and ride her some more. Yeah, what a cutie. Actually, this appears to have attachment points for panniers. As I say, the TE comes with those. I'm not quite sure if that's an optional extra on this bike or what, but anyway, check out the website for full details of that sort of caper. Right, let's go and see what it's like to turn this around. Nothing coming. Right, very narrow this road. Won't be able to ride it round, but let's see what the turning settle's like. Full lock. Will it go round? There we go. Just about made it round on full lock. Quite a good turning circle actually. It looked like it was wide there, but this is a very narrow little stretch of road. So don't be thinking it would take up the whole road. Oh, it's so good for the soul to be out on a day like this. Come on, Mr. Camper. Friendly, smiley fellow in there. Probably thought I was miserable for not waving back, but I had a handful of clutch at the time. Yeah, this is a really nice bike. It's one of those ones that has a bit of everything about it. You can ride it, you know, like I am now, in a sort of slow, lazy way, just enjoy the view. Or you can wind her up on the twisters, and she really does deliver the grins. Okay, so back on that road to Henley that I quite like. This is just the sort of perfect road for this type of bike, open bends. Just a lovely feeling of balance as you wind her up. Really, really nice. Mirrors work really well, by the way. Something I forgot to mention. These are your standard Beamer mirrors. I've seen these on all sorts of bikes, including my GS. They work really well. Great view behind, no vibration. What I need is a little clear stretch of road without double white lines, so I can overtake this Nissan Qashqai. Oh, this looks like an opportunity. Yeah. Oh, it's one of those days where it's good to be alive. Alright, well I've luckily enough got this bike for as long as I like this afternoon, so I'm just going to enjoy riding it. But for now, that's it for my first impressions review. Hope you found that of interest. In summary, there's really not much I can find about the bike that I don't like. The only thing I would say is the seat is hard. It's sculpted quite nice. It remains to be seen how that would do though on a long journey. Also, I'm not sure what it would be like with a pillion on this bike. But if it's just you and you want one bike to do it all, and you want a bike that can be fun in the twisties and good in traffic, definitely give the brand new BMW F900 XR a look. So that does 5 bikes make a peloton? I don't know. Because I think you're going to like it. If you like the looks of it, which I do, it's got a really nice feel about it. A nice quality feel. Something that when I rode the Tracer 900, which I guess is its main competitor, was a little bit lacking. There's nothing wrong with the Tracer 900 at all, but compared to this, it just felt a little bit flimsy. Not quite such a quality machine. But yeah, if you are in the market, of course, ride all those bikes and draw your own conclusions. But yeah, really, really nice this. So thanks again to Bahnstormer in Maidenhead for letting me borrow the bike for this ride. Do go and check them out. Very friendly bunch of guys. Free cup of coffee and biscuits if you're allowed to eat such things, available there in the showroom, and all the bikes there, including demos such as this for you to ride if you should so wish. And if this is the first time you've been to my channel, I don't just do bike reviews here on the Listen and Fly. I do all sorts of stuff to do with looking after your bike in the garage. I do trips and tours at home and abroad. I do monthly bike news, the odd live stream, basically anything and everything about motorcycles. I'll try and cover it here on the Listen and Fly. It'd be great to have you join the crew. Do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so already, and maybe even consider joining my Patreon page. A little P thing on my main page will take you to my Patreon page, and thanks to everybody that's signed up to that and become members of my YouTube channel as well. Down to you guys, that means I'm able to continue to fund trips and tours, things like that, and keep the channel going. So very, very grateful to you chaps, thank you for that. Alrighty, that's it for now. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Listen and Fly. Cheerio. Technically Oxfordshire now. Turning out to be quite a test ride. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention, BMW UK have very kindly said that I can borrow one of these XRs as a long-term loaner later on in the spring. So if you are interested in this bike, do stay tuned to the channel, because there's going to be lots more videos to come. I'm going to be living with one of these for a month or so, and I shall bring you everything that I learn about the bike, including my now famous luggability test. But the lessons that I learn having lived with the bike, and based on this little short first ride, really looking forward to getting to know it better. Alright, see you then.